Death is one of the most misunderstood cards in tarot, and it's not just because people fear it. It's because our modern interpretation of the card has slowly taken us away from its wider meaning. We live in a world that demands low friction, easy to digest answers with a focus on positivity. As a result, modern interpretations of the card rush to reassure us. Something has ended, sure, but don't worry, something new is beginning. A phoenix rises from the ashes. The old self becomes the new self. Transformation, rebirth, renewal. It's easy to understand why the safe, sanitized interpretation has become so popular. It's comforting. Death is one of the most intimidating cards in the deck. Transformation is much easier to digest. Also, it sells better. But tarot is not meant to be comfortable. It is meant to be honest. In this regard, Death, in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, published in 1909, is worth examining. Today, I want to break down how modern tarot came to associate death with transformation, why I think that interpretation only tells part of the story, and what the card is actually saying through its imagery, symbolism, and number. My name is Jay, and I've been reading, studying, and teaching tarot for the last 2 decades. If you're interested in tarot as a tool for understanding human experience, do consider subscribing. That's what this channel is about. Now, let's talk about death. The symbols in death. If death is a transformation, where exactly is the transformation? Because when we look at the card, we don't see transformation. Let's look at the imagery. A skeleton rides forward on a white horse. A king lies dead beneath its feet. A religious figure stands before it. A woman kneels. A child watches. The more you look at it, the stranger it becomes, because nobody is transforming. Nobody is becoming anything. They're reacting, witnessing, confronting. They are in the presence of something that cannot be changed. You see, death doesn't arrive to destroy growth. Death arrives when growth has stopped. And we are witness to it, stuck in that liminal space while reality moves on around us. This movement is something modern tarot misinterprets as well. It is true. Everything in the card is moving. The horse steps forward, the river flows, the boat moves, the sun rises. Everything does continue forward, but that movement in the card is not transformation itself. It is about reality moving forward while we are frozen in confronting death. If you've ever attended a funeral and stood in a graveyard as the body is lowered, you will intuitively recognize this moment. You see a bird, you feel the wind, but time for you is still. Time for the body being lowered has ended. And then we have a choice to make. Do we accept what has happened? Is that acceptance at the level where we can move on? Or do we deny that? Do we do nothing but stare and grieve? That is not transformation. That is a dialogue with the moment after transformation and before any renewal or rebirth. If anything, the moment of transformation was truly in the hanged man. What is death then? The more we study this card, the more we can see 3 things. First, death is not transformation. It is the in-between. It is a liminal space where we must bear witness. a moment that persists even as the world keeps moving, a threshold or a trap. As a simple story in the Major Arcana, first you are hanged, then you die, and after you begin the process of temperance and further growth. Second, death carries a question that has fundamentally two answers: acceptance, the card's highest calling, or denial, its lowest point. Third, transformation is indeed one possible consequence of acceptance or denial. But there is no guarantee that the transformation is positive. We may decay, turn putrid, and rot. The change depends on whether we accept or deny this new reality. And without acceptance or denial, we may not progress at all. So yes, transformation does have a place in the death card, but it is not the main. The choice is. Applying death to readings. Let's bring what we've discussed into practice. Let's assume someone comes for a reading. The question is around infidelity in a relationship. One partner has cheated, the other has come for a reading, and the death card is pulled. The modern interpretation may say, this relationship is facing death. It needs to transform. What is the transformation? Is this the moment to end the relationship? Or can it be saved? What are the new possibilities on the horizon? Good questions, but now let's interpret death for what it is and what it is not. Temperance is a better guide on whether the relationship must end or continue. The devil is a better exploration of what it means to stay or go. The tower is a clearer indicator of consequences and possibilities. Death is not about the above, and the choice is not whether to end or save the relationship. That comes later. The choice is where the querent lands on the spectrum of accepting or denying this new reality. This interpretation may ask, with this act, the relationship as it once was is over. What has been lost? What does the loss feel like? Was it unexpected or expected, and why? And finally, what does acceptance look like? Staring death in the face like this, while deeply uncomfortable, will guide the querent much better when they come to the transformative challenge: stay in the relationship or end it. Another quick example. Let's assume someone comes for a reading after losing their job and the death card appears. If we read this using the modern concept of transformation, the interpretation is easy. The job is over. What will the new chapter bring? How do we find something better than what was? Now, let's read the card using what we've explored. The job is over. What caused it to end? Is the loss joyful, neutral, or painful? And why? What does acceptance of this loss entail? We don't jump to exploring what comes next. We instead examine the nature of the situation the querent is in. The number 13 and death. Now let's look at death's number, the number 13. A lot of people see 13 and immediately connect it to unlucky 13. But let's not do that. It's too simple and not useful when it comes to numerology and tarot interpretation. First, let's reduce 13 numerologically. 1 plus 3, and you arrive at 4. Now that's a little strange because 4s in tarot are not transformative. So, if death is about transformation and rebirth, why does it reduce to one of the most stable numbers? Let's look at the fours. The emperor establishes and maintains order, seated. The Four of Pentacles holds on, seated. The Four of Cups ignores, seated. The Four of Swords is still, lying down. The Four of Sticks has activity, but contains structure and balance. Lastly, the Kings, being the fourth and final of the court cards, speak of stability, all seated. Except in one instance. The king is dead in death. He has reached his end. The stability of the four is here in rigor mortis. This is the true meaning of death. This is the end, and the enormity of it holds you in place. The question then is, how do you respond to it? We are back to acceptance or denial. In summary, firstly, modern-day interpretations of the death card have sanitized and greatly narrowed its meaning. This has been done in the pursuit of a more positive take on what people fear. Doing so has led to tarot gaining a wider audience while losing its depth. Secondly, the narrowness of the modern interpretation is tied to its fixation on transformation and rebirth and what comes after death, rather than the exploration of what death means. Thirdly, death is the moment where reality changes forever, and we struggle to process and respond. How we respond is a choice that lies somewhere between acceptance and denial. Importantly, acceptance can result in positive transformation, but denial too creates the possibility of transformation into something rotten, decaying, hateful, or perhaps worst of all, death may provide no transformation at all, stagnant and stable like a four, lost in that liminal space forever. That is why death is one of the most powerful cards in tarot. To embrace its full meaning is to embrace discomfort, without which true growth is not possible. Thank you. If you've enjoyed this exploration, let me know which card you'd like me to tackle next. The Devil, the Tower, and the Moon are all high on my list, but I'm open to suggestions. Until next time, may you walk between wonder and wisdom.